Good morning, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 808 Ellis Avenue here in Lake Oswego. We're located in the basement of the home, right up against the front foundation wall. We have a 3-inch cast iron cleanout, although it is a 4-inch cast iron line. We're going to insert the camera and check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. We currently have water running. We're going to zero the camera counter out right here at the base of the cleanout. And here we go. It looks like it transitions here over to 6-inch concrete pipe immediately outside the house. I'll try and take a look at that joint on the way out, showing some signs of separation. You can have joints that are somewhat separated and aren't open to the ground. These pieces of pipe usually have a male-female end, so you'll have some overlap there of the joint. Got a bunch of junk built up right here. We're going to take a look at that on the way back out. The camera's riding up over the top of something there. Alright, transitions here over to 6-inch 30-34 PVC pipe. And that right there looks like our main lateral connection here at about 42 feet, we'll call it. We're going to let the line drain out here for a few minutes before rolling the camera back in. I'm also going to go locate, verify where the line terminates at. Located the camera head successfully out the main lateral on Ellis. Line comes out the front of the house, right around, near the front left corner of the home. Kind of angles underneath the driveway. Ties into the main just to the left of the driveway if you're looking at it at the house from the street. We've got the water turned off now for probably close to 5 minutes at least. Still have a little water trickling through here. I'm going to start reeling back in. My guess is we may have some debris that's having a hard time, or water that's struggling to drain through that spot with all the debris buildup. So we do have some standing water here in the line. The hard part right now, though, is just the amount of debris that's in the line is making it difficult to gauge how much standing water we really have here. You could have a bunch of debris sitting in the flow line that's damming the line up and making it look worse than it actually is. But right here, that's going up over the top of the camera lens. We've got about 3/4 to 1 inch of standing water, but there's also a ton of debris in the line. Now that could partially be due to the fact you might have a belly here. There's also a lot of aggregate rock that's showing through. It's getting near that time where the amount of aggregate that starts to show will slow down the debris moving down the line because it's very rough. If you look at the flow line right now, down at the bottom of the screen versus the top, you can see how jagged that is versus the top of the pipe where it's nice and smooth. That will slow debris down as it comes down the pipe. Because you don't have a smooth surface to run across, that can cause the debris to then start collecting in the line, which could be the cause of the standing water here. You can see all the junk I'm pushing around. I'm trying to figure out if this is a belly or not. You can see right there I'm pushing more junk. I'm leaning towards it being a belly in the line. Now that I've shoveled some of the debris around a little bit, we have less standing water there than we did the first time around. There's about right around a half of an inch, maybe as much as 3/4. And where I typically start to see toilet paper collect in lines is once you have about 5 feet of pipe with at least 3/4 to 1 inch of standing water in it. That's where I generally start to see it collect. Again, I know right here we have a ton of debris sitting in the flow line that is pulled back from it. Another spot here where it could be a belly, it could also be the aggregate rock that's causing that stuff to collect. It's really hard to say. A fair amount of separation there. I'm not seeing a whole lot in the way of evidence showing that it's open to the ground showing through. Generally, if you have a joint that's opened up to the ground, at the very least, you'll have dirt coming in from where earthworms will tunnel in and out of the pipe. Which I know sounds funny, but it is a real thing. Trying to figure out what this ledge here is in the middle of the flow line. You can see right when we pass from this transition, there's some big old lump in the bottom of the pipe here before we drop into the concrete. You just don't get a good look at it. It almost looks like the bottom of the pipe there is fractured, but it could be something else too. It could be they got too much sealant or something at the joint here when they were putting the line together. It's really hard to tell what that is. But it almost looks like there's a piece of pipe sitting on top of the concrete pipe, like a half section of it. And what concerns me about this line right now is the amount of aggregate that's showing through. It's without knowing whether, if the debris was out of the line, we'd have a clearer picture as to how much standing water we'd really be working with here. I'll push back out and show this again. So right now, and we've sloshed a little water out of the belly. Right now we're sitting at about a 1/4 inch. You can see the amount of junk I'm shoveling around though with my camera, pushing up in front of it. That's what I can't see beyond right now is all this debris. This line too, at the point it's at, and you may run the risk of damaging it if you try to drain clean it. But I'm leaning towards get it jetted so that you can re-scope it and see what kind of standing water we're really working with here. For the most part, now that it's totally drained out, we're not dealing with a ton of water, but we're also looking at a line that's showing quite a bit of age too. So I would recommend jetting the line out and re-scoping it to see how much debris, standing water we have left over. The way it sits right now though, even with some of the debris in the pipe, it's drained out to a fairly minimal level to where we have around 1/4 to 1/2 inch of standing water. But keep in mind, it's also a line that's, it's getting up there in its age too. So if the aggregate rock alone is causing all that stuff to collect there, there's a very good chance once you clean it out, it's going to build back up again. I'm concerned too that a drain clean this, you could actually end up damaging the concrete pipe. I just don't. It's at least a better option than just going right ahead and repairing it. I think it's worth jetting it because if you're left over with a 1/4 inch of standing water there or something like that, a minimal amount, not the biggest deal in the world, but you also have a lot of aggregate that's showing through. So you have standing water slowing debris down, but you also have aggregate rock slowing debris down. Now the two together could be the entire reason we have as much junk built up in the line. My camera shoveled a lot of it out of the way. So anyway, I would recommend jetting it and re-scoping it to see how much standing water is left over there. If it's right around a 1/4 inch, that's something that's quite livable. You just got to make sure you're not flushing paper towels down the pipe. Or if it's a 1/4 inch, we still have a fair amount of aggregate rock. The other option you can do is run a liner through. You'll still have some standing water, but you'll reduce the aggregate rock issue and allow for things to at least have a smooth surface to flow across. Anyway, at this time, I cannot tell how much standing water we have because of the debris that's built up there in the flow line. I recommend it be jetted and re-scoped.